Hi, I'm Robin Leach with those champagne wishes, and you're listening to Kitchen Chat with Margaret McSweeney. Good eating.
Hello everyone, I'm Margaret McSweeney, host of Kitchen Chat, and we are taking Kitchen Chat on the road today. It's such a delightful honor to be here with Chef Fabio and his colleagues Carlos and Sean here at Siena Tavern in Chicago, Illinois, a must-stop place for you if you're ever visiting here or if you live around here. Today I thought it would be fun to take Kitchen Chat on the road and just catch up with you, Chef Fabio. You are just doing so many things. You have several restaurants, a new one just opening in Miami, wine, which we're going to talk about, cookbooks, which we're going to talk about.
Making a tea for myself, a lot of things going on. But it's good to be busy. You know, my business partner, Carlos and Sean, you know, when you have good people around, there's always something else that could be done.
Yes.
And I do a lot of things. Restaurant business is doing very well. We just opened our sister restaurant of this in South Beach.
Yes.
My business partner, we're opening a steakhouse. You know, it's just a good bunch of good things going on. We just launched a few months ago the Fabio wine collection.
Yes.
We have a Chardonnay right now and a Cabernet Sauvignon. We're going into also red blend, Pinot Grigio, other varietal. We're expanding the line. Everything is good. We're very happy.
Great. And real quickly about the wine. Listeners and viewers, definitely pick up a bottle of the wine. It's not only delicious to drink, I actually had the wonderful opportunity to cook with it, and you'll appreciate this. I'm a breast cancer survivor of 3 years, going on 3 years, and in the Barrington suburbs where I live, they've just started a soul survivor group where fellow cancer survivors, fighters, and caregivers are starting to meet and get together. So I was asked as host of Kitchen Chat to cook a healthy meal for them and to encourage them and nourish them. That's my key word for this word, is nourish. I featured your wine in making my marinara sauce. And you know what I did? I mixed it. Since several of them were breast cancer fighters, I made it pink. I did a little bit of white and I did a little bit of red for the sauce to make it pink. So it was just delicious.
How did it turn out?
I think it turned out well, and I've been getting some requests. I'm calling it Savor the Day sauce.
I loved it.
We should hire for product development.
Yes, R&D, R&D. And you know, that's what I always say. You know, people say, oh, you don't need to buy good wine to cook with. Oh, hold on. While I do agree that you don't want to spend $100 on a bottle of wine and then cook with it, I would say, why would you want to cook with the wine that you wouldn't drink? Because at the end, you're going to still drink it, kind of, you know.
Exactly.
So the wine you're cooking with is got to be a good level. Now, although we didn't start the collection, we didn't pick the wine with the intent of cooking with it, because you know the quality that we put into the selection of the grape, the whole process creates, although very affordable, a delectable wine.
Yes.
Very good one that can compete against the big boy.
Yes.
But I do agree, look, hey, if you have a little left over, although there is no reason to have wine left over, but if you have a little left over and you want to cook with it, God bless. And I'm glad it worked out.
It did. It was delicious. And of course I sipped a little bit while I was cooking. It was
most
wonderful.
Most of it. Yeah.
And another recipe that inspired me from your cookbook, definitely get a copy of this wonderful Fabio's Italian Kitchen, and I want to talk about your new cookbook too.
Yes, of course.
But the prosciutto wrapped dates inspired me.
It's a classic in Italy. Dates are very common in Italy. Prosciutto, you're welcome, everybody out there, for inventing prosciutto. As an Italian, of course, not me personally, but as an Italian, prosciutto di Parma and prosciutto San Daniele are the only ingredient worth to be called prosciutto. You know, there is a lot of imitation, there is a lot of ham, a lot of domestic stuff. Prosciutto di Parma and prosciutto San Daniele is the only two categories that have the word prosciutto legitimately slapped all over the leg. But the reality is that it's a classic. You know, dates, everybody loves dates, kind of sweet with the saltiness of the prosciutto. It's a great dish. America does it with bacon.
Yes.
Bacon wrapped dates.
Right.
In Italy, bacon is not very famous. We have pancetta, which is a cured version of it. I'm all about the cold cuts, you know, and that's a great dish. It's a great simple. There is some wrapping to do, and if you cannot wrap, a slice of prosciutto around the date, you shouldn't even attempt to cook anything else. You just gotta hire a private chef or go out for dinner. So then you have a problem, right? So yeah, so I'm glad you find the recipe easy, and that's what it's all about,
Exactly, and we have to say a congratulations too, because as you know, for those who've been following me, during the Oscars, I paired film and food, and actually, Chef Fabio, you were the winner because Birdman was the winner of the Oscars, and guess which dish I paired with Birdman?
Roasted chicken.
Drunken chicken, because alcohol was the key
Fair enough,
ingredient.
it's at the end of the day, poultry, it's an ochre bird, but it's a bird. At the end of the day, it's a bird. Very nice. I like it. Close to it. Didn't nail it, but close to it.
No, definitely. And the drunken chicken, and I did use your wine as well, the Chardonnay.
The red one and the white one.
Exactly, and cooking that. So it's an award-winning dish. So
I knew it. It's about time. It was like, right, I know.
That was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Yes, and tell us a little bit about what's on the menu here at Siena Tavern. What is cooking in the kitchen?
Tavern. Well, he should tell you about it. He's eating like 5 times a week.
Well, I've tried everything on the menu.
The menu. The menu is a combination of Italian classic, kept classic, presented in a beautiful presentation way. Because one thing that I think Italy is missing, it's a more elaborate presentation. When I said elaborate, I don't mean fancy. I don't mean like time consuming. I mean more than a scoop of pasta and a bowl and toss.
Yes.
Which in Italy we care a lot about the flavor, we care a lot about the quality. Presentation is nothing that we care for. In America, people like to eat with their eyes first.
Yeah.
But sometimes they don't know if it's good. Because in Italy, it's good. In America, sometimes it looks pretty, but I don't know. But if it looks pretty, probably it's not gonna be as bad, right? So what we do here, we try to do Italian food with an American twist. We pride ourselves in say that our concept was born in Italy but raised in Chicago. We use local farm, local products, and we combine what we feel is the best balance between Italian classic and American's favorite. So you're gonna find American dishes with an Italian twist, and you're gonna find Italian classic raised in Chicago. So that's kind of what the menu is. A lot of fresh pasta. The concept is from scratch. If we cannot do it, we're not serving it. Really, besides growing our own produce and raising our cattle, we do everything else, really. So from the bread to the dessert to the pastas to the cheeses to everything.
That is delicious. And the meatball has its own Twitter feed?
Meatball is a party starter. She got a Twitter account. And there's a lot of people following that. We have an exclusive meatball. It's a Kobe beef big meatball, and they deserve the Twitter account. It might honestly deserve an Oscar.
It deserved the Oscar.
Fabio was telling me earlier today how many pounds of meat he goes through.
It's true. We go through about 800 pounds of ground beef a week just to do our meatball.
800 pounds of meat.
We serve over 100 meatball a day, and they're close to a pound each.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of beef.
That is
I see the beef bill and I'm like, what's up? Why we're paying rent to the butcher? And then they was like, no, that's not the rent check. That's the amount of ground beef you're buying. So we're buying a lot of beef.
Wow, a lot of beef. You know where to find
beef
it
is good.
Here, which is great. So I'd love to hear. I loved reading through this book. It's almost like and food is about stories. It's about
memories.
Gathering.
It's about stories. It's about memory. It's about legacy. It's about not only eating, because yes, you can have a meal and not have a good story. But if you have a meal and a good story, that's it. It's a deal.
And you have an incredible story.
I have stories. Everybody has stories. Mine are tad different, but I think growing up the way I did and went through life the way I did it and then trying to make it the way I did it, it makes for a good story that you don't hear every day.
Yes.
But, I don't want to take other people's stories from away from the spotlight. Different stories.
And heartwarming stories, overflowing with taste memories and influences by your grandmother and cooking with her in Italy.
A very well-known book reviewer, when this book came out, said a very nice thing. He said, he said to me, we didn't need another Italian cookbook because there is a lot of cookbooks out there. Look, and I'll keep writing cookbook for the rest of my life, but there's a lot of cookbook out there. You know, and Google ruined everything because you know if you think about it, you don't need me anymore for a good meatball recipe. But beside that, I love you, Google. But beside that, you know, the book writer, the book reviewer said, you know, this is the only cookbook I've ever seen that cracked me up from the first page to the last one. The recipe, I'm sure they're great, he said, but I'm not into cooking, I'm into reading. And this is one cookbook that I've loved to read head to toe. So that's a good compliment because people that read book, they don't give a crap about cookbook. And people that cook, they don't give a crap about reading books. So that's and this is kind of please both ends of it because there is not a recipe for the first 70 pages.
Exactly.
There's a lot of stories, memories, and most of them are funny for America. You know, they were funny for me too. They weren't funny for my mom. My mom didn't find most of the story funny, but she kind of was the victim of it. But you know.
Well, can you share just one peek into what your favorite story was that you shared?
You know, it's there is a lot of good stories because for some reason I was in the middle of all of them, but. You know, I think maybe a couple of stories that can stand out. When I was 5 years old, by accident, of course, I set my grandmother on fire.
Oh no!
I did. There was a lot behind. I mean, just now I went up to her and just lit her up. There was a lot planning, a lot of stuff behind. But I was a different child, and that's one of the things I did. Or, you know, my grandfather was very well connected with the cleric and church system in Italy, and for some reason he knew the Pope very well. Actually, it's like we're buddies, and I'm like, oh, hey, no, Grandpa, you're full of shit. Sorry, but you know, when your grandfather tells you that he knows the Pope very well, but then, you know, he brought us to the Vatican, get a private blessing, and then it happened. I was 5 and 6 years old, not even 6, and after a back and forth with the Jean Paul, God bless his soul, is no longer with us. I decided, out of fun, to slap the ceremonial hat off of the Pope's head.
Oh no!
That's a 10% reaction of what my mom had. Yeah.
And what reaction did the Pope have?
He was laughing and he said, "Oh, it's a very." I like him very, great kid, great.
Got a lot of energy.
A lot of energy.
Extra
praise the Pope.
I just dunked
I'm sure it's very gracious.
the head of the Pope's head. Everybody loved it. My mom hated it. You know, the stories. Everybody has stories. Yeah,
exactly. Well, what is your favorite taste memory from childhood? When you think about Italy and growing up there, what taste?
Pasta and risotto. Anything I did. Whenever I'm hungry, I could be in the middle of a rainforest. I'm hungry, I think about pasta. I love pasta. I love pasta. And one of my biggest fear actually was one of these days to turn into like a gluten intolerant person. Because I know America has an issue with corn and there is a lot of crap going on. But beside that, that's why I spend in flour probably as much money how many people spend for their car payment, because I buy flour from Italy that is cultivated with grains that are not genetically modified, they're organic. It's a headache. But you know, if one of these days I turn out to be gluten intolerant, my world is over. Because I love pasta so much that I cannot think about not eating it. It will make me miserable.
And what's your favorite pasta?
Any pasta. I don't care. Pasta. I don't even care for sauces. You know, give me any fresh pasta, I'll just devour it.
Oh, that sounds great. Well, we have some questions from listeners. Tommy says, what is the one thing everyone should have in their kitchen to help make life a little easier?
A food processor.
Food processor.
You can make pasta in it, you can chop, you can liquidify, you can do a lot of things with the food processor.
Great. So
and the food processor is a good arm. It's an extension of your arm, because if you think about it, every time you gotta chop something, you gotta take the cutting board out, the knife out.
That's true.
Get a little food processor, throw everything in, and then throw it in the dishwasher, you're fine.
That sounds great. Louise has a really fun question. If you weren't a chef, you would be?
In jail. I'll be in jail. Honestly.
Okay.
And then be in jail, you don't get paid for it. So it's not a job. I'll be a felony and committed. Committed felony, probably convicted because I wasn't not that smart, so I wouldn't be good in crime. But I wouldn't be in jail.
Okay.
No job.
Great. Pamela asked, and I know it's been a little while, but what did you cook for Valentine's Day?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I went out for dinner.
Okay.
Didn't cook anything.
All
Because
right.
I'm a smart guy, all right? I'm not taking a chance. It's Valentine's Day, so what if I cook something that she hates? So I don't want to get the blame. And if we go out and she doesn't like what she ate, I'm getting on the bandwagon with her in blaming the chef. Whatever she wants, she can pick anything she wants to do for Valentine's, and the answer is yes.
Oh, and she is so wonderful.
She's a lovely lady. She's put up with me is not easy.
Oh, that's great. And then Sheila asked, is there any tasty dish that you have for high fiber meals? Any tasty recipes?
High fiber meal. Well, yes. You know, there's got to be a lot of grain in it. There's got to be a lot of green leaf vegetable.
Okay.
So if you mix something with barley, like farro, kale, and some other greens and leaf, you can have a very high fiber meal and get all kinds of fiber from vegetable, from grains.
Right.
You know, and that's, I don't have a dish in mind, but if you use like green leaf, kale, Swiss chard, barley, oats, like a lot of wheat grain and green leaf, you have a lot of that.
Perfect. And then Kathleen asked, what's the easiest but most delicious dish you make?
Roasted chicken.
Roasted chicken. And the drunken chicken is fabulous.
Drunken is good, but it's not as easy as the roasted chicken.
Easy. And I'm
it's
not
easy.
a good cook, but
not
that
as
was a
easy.
challenge. Exactly. Well, I am just so delighted and honored to
Thank
be with you today, Chef Fabio, and your business colleagues, Carlos and
Likewise.
Sean.
Thank you.
Please come down to the delicious Siena Tavern and enjoy the wine and everything. And always remember, take a moment and savor the day.
Thanks for joining Margaret for Kitchen Chat today. Margaret would be so excited for you to drop by and visit with her at kitchenchat.info, where you'll enjoy podcasts, blogs, recipes, tips from chefs, and even great giveaways. She invites you to share your recipes and kitchen stories too. As Margaret always says, savor the day.